Okay then, I have now arrived at Birmingham. It was quite an arduous journey down. I mean, I left about what time is it? I left just after 5 o'clock, and we arrived about 20 past 11. Traffic was not too bad until we got about 20 miles from Birmingham, as is always the case. So we did about 280 miles of absolutely fine driving, no traffic issues at all. And then it says 20 miles from Birmingham, it just went to nose to tail. So I'm now in my travel lodge, as you can possibly see. It's all very travellogical. Yep, I'm actually in my underpants, ready for my bed. Oops, let's look at, stop moving it about. So, yep, the three girls are in the next door's room. They'd only been in their room about 5 minutes when they came through to tell me there was a large spider in their room. And of course, what happened? They all left the room without taking the keys. I then had to go back down to reception and get the guy to let us back in again. So all good fun. I think it's going to be a long weekend. So anyway, I am going to my bed now. I've got a wee cup of tea. I'm going to head to my bed and then I'll be up nice, bright and early and bushy-tailed for Insomnia. So I'll see you in the morning. Good night.
Morning. This was a car boot sale outside the Travel Lodge, which was interesting. Now this is my daughter Ava's friend Maxine. She's dressed up in cosplay as a skeleton out of a game called Undertale. Now I've never heard of it either. But it actually went doing really well. Okay, this is us making our way into the NEC. Now I thought, oh excellent, there's no queue, and then of course you get into this bit and there's a humongous queue. This was a little selfie taken just before we got in. That's Ava at the front. This was the main sort of stage thing. This was like the introduction to Insomnia. Quite a size actually. Way bigger than any Play Expo thing I've been to. Much bigger scale. There's a bear sitting in front of me. Got to say, I was quite impressed with the sound system. Really, really loud. Really impressive. Well, I guess it is used for a sort of concert venue, so that explains it. Yeah, the sound in this bit was pretty epic. You can see there's quite a large crowd as well. I mean, I was sitting pretty far at the back. So here we go. This is me just wandering about with a camera. It was quite a big area, got to say, quite a large hall. Everything was contained within the main sort of hall, although there was that stage thing that you just saw, that was in a sort of different part. But you didn't have to walk too far to get anywhere. Now, despite the large crowds that were there, once you're actually in, you can see there it's not too bad. You know, it doesn't feel cramped at all. Now, I'll apologise in advance about the pretty shitty, not so much the video quality, but I was just really wandering about trying to take in everything as best I possibly could. I mean, to me it didn't really feel like anything was put into any place. It was all just dotted all over the place. The biggest thing for this Insomnia, I think I would say, is computer hardware. You can see there some of the PCs. I mean, they look like bloody time machines. Some of the prices as well. I mean, I was looking at one, it was like £5,000. It's like, bloody hell. So yeah, it's computer stuff for sale, and the other part is kind of new games. Now I've got to say, when I first got in, I went straight to the PlayStation VR bit, and the queues were massive. So unfortunately I didn't actually get to have a shot of the PlayStation VR, although I do include a bit of footage later on. There's a few odd looks at me videoing. Now I didn't see anybody at all that I knew, apart from obviously my daughter and her two pals. That was it. I didn't see any YouTubers at all. But I've got to be honest, it's not my cup of tea. I mean, I was going down there purely and simply to let my daughter and her pals go. I let them do their own thing. So I just kind of wandered about all day. Wasn't my cup of tea. If you're into computer hardware, PC hardware, then you would love it. But you know my background. I'm not really up to speed with latest hardware and even new games. I mean, it was nice to see some of the new games. Was it Forza Horizon 3, Sniper 4? But considering I've never seen Sniper 1, 2 or 3, you know, it really didn't mean a hell of a lot to me. Got to say, I mean, I had a wee kind of quick play with some of the PCs, and you know, I absolutely get when people say that PCs are way far in advance of gaming consoles. They absolutely are. I mean, the graphics, the resolution is just stunning. Now this is actually, you can see there, PS4. This was a sort of, was it Battlezone, I think they called it. This was a VR game. And again, the queue was massive, so I didn't make any effort to queue up for it. I probably should have, because I was there the whole day, but you know, I just couldn't be bothered. To me it felt like a large computer shop, really, you know, with tons and tons and tons of hardware, all ridiculously expensive as well. You look at these things, I mean, they're like works of art. Not quite sure what the idea of the clothes was, but anyway. This was the Vive, I think it was. Or was it? No, is this? I'm trying to see what that said there. I think that was the Vive. That's a Vive, I'm sure, yeah. Running Windows 10, I think it is. Nice shot of that guy's arse as he scratches it. Not quite sure what the deck chairs were, but anyway, they were there for folk to sit on, obviously. That's like the Xbox One section. I always feel a bit uncomfortable about filming, you know, with these things. I mean, some of the stalls actually, like the PlayStation VR, it distinctly said no filming, so you know. Now I've not made any effort to edit this video, I've just banged the footage straight up. Come on, focus, damn you, that's better. No, it's still not focused. Probably because I'm moving too quick, I think. Nice shot of that guy's water bottle. And that guy's big belly. The problem when you're filming, you're sort of... now this here is for Mafia. It's a cinema for Mafia now. When I went to try and get in, the guy said it wasn't on, so I don't know what was going on. Now this was a little retro section that they had. It wasn't big, they might have had maybe 50 machines all in. Bit of Dreamcast, bit of SNES. Some bongo game, is that on the Dreamcast I think? Some PlayStation, original PlayStation. There was a small, what do you call it? There was a small sort of, I don't even know the name of the company. A table selling games, various SNES games, Super Nintendo, all the usual suspects. But again, the prices are quite expensive, so I didn't buy anything. I did have a look, but there's not really anything I was after. I always find the thing with these, when you see all these machines at computer shows, given that I've got every single one of them, or at least most of them, in the house, I've got no real urge to play them. You know. That was Super Smash Brothers, that was on the GameCube I think it was. It seemed to be quite popular. I'm sure there was a Super Smash Brothers competition somewhere else. PS2 Super Family Tennis, something like that it's called, or Super Smash Tennis I think it's called. Now I need to check this out. This is Wreck-It Ralph on the Sega Mega Drive. It was one of these games that was written, sort of a homebrew type game, and it actually looked pretty good. I'll need to take a look at that one. Now this was Atari 5200. Now I couldn't believe that was the size of it. Yeah, Atari 5200. You'll see there. I can zoom in. I was surprised at how big a machine that was. Really, really large. And I think that is in our trackball as well. I think that's kinda, that boy's trying to play Pac-Man with a trackball. I don't think that's a good idea. Apparently 5200 is similar to the Atari 8-bit. That's what's that called again? Not rock and roll. It was something. No, I can't remember. Something boxing anyway. On the Dreamcast. And the problem with trying to be, that's the only cab I saw, it's one of these generic, I think it was running MAME actually. It seemed to, every time I passed, that's Pang by the looks of things, every time I passed it was running something different. But that sadly was the only arcade machine. Now, they had a couple of the wee LCD games, I can't remember what that was. There's the Virtual Boy, again, got one of these in the house so I didn't even bother checking it. It was Snoopy and Donkey Kong Jr. I think it was. Yeah, the problem with trying to be discreet when you're filming is you end up filming people's backsides and tummies. And this was the only stall that was selling sort of old games that I could find. But again, the prices were a bit on the high side. Various Game Boys, etc. They were selling a few of these kind of imitation Game Boys. Can't remember what they're called actually. They basically emulate a Game Boy. It's actually quite a nice Game Boy Advance, I should say. It's got a nice kind of back screen. But I've got all the original hardware, so don't really have any need for anything like that. I mean, I was kind of tempted to buy one, and they're like, well, why are you going to buy that when you've already got all this stuff? And this was some sort of, this guy was spinning records. This was selling the usual Minecraft tat swords and whatnot. Never really get that myself, but I guess there's plenty of kids like them. Some pops. The only one I'm actually wanting to buy is what do you call them? Jabba the Hutt. But didn't see any at all. There was just a very, very small selection. And over here was some people playing board games. It's actually quite good to see that people still play these board games. I mean, I've got a mate who plays a lot of them. I was going to say I've never seen the appeal. The problem I've got is I don't have anyone to play them with. Possibly if I had an opportunity to play them, I might give it a go. But they do seem to be quite popular, which is interesting when you think a computer version is always going to be way better, but I guess it's like you're just using your imagination. Interestingly, I don't think I actually caught it. You might see the TARDIS there. There was actually a wee guy. He apparently, but I've got to say, he actually looked like he's like a mini. There he's there. Oh, yeah, you can just see him. A mini Matthew Smith. Now, he did actually look quite like him. So this wee guy has got his own. Sort of, you can see him there. He's got his own kind of YouTube channel, I think. But he raises money for charities, so you know it's all good. You could pay money to get your picture taken with him. You do get some sights at these things. Got to say, there was one particular cosplay girl that walked past. I'm like, bloody hell! But yeah, I resisted filming her. I think that would have been a bit a bit odd. I'd probably been ejected from the arena if I'd done that. But suffice to say, it didn't leave very much to the imagination. So yeah, it just kind of had. This is a guy selling different covers, skins, whatever for your consoles. This was a Dark Souls board game, quite an impressive statue actually. Aye, it was just really, like I said, it was mainly computer hardware for sale. You know, plus they had demos of various games. I mean, apparently there was Gears of War 5, I think it is. I couldn't see it anywhere. I was looking for it because that's one game I'd like to have seen. Couldn't see it anywhere. League of Legends. Don't know what half these things were. Now I think this here, there appear to be masses and masses of people queuing up to see some guys. Now I think they've got some sort of YouTube gameplay thing. I'm really not too sure. I mean, I had a wee look at them, but I've got to say I didn't recognise them at all. Yeah, you can see them in there. No idea who they were. No, it actually tells you there. comedy gaming apparently. Now this, you can see there, this is the Robo Challenge Arena. It's like a mini robot wars. Now I do actually video that shortly. That was the one thing that I actually really enjoyed. I kind of spent quite a few hours. I had 3 or 4 I had, you know, 3 or 4 segments where they had maybe 5 kind of like fights. That was really good. So we'll come back to that shortly. Obviously the arena in this thing's a lot smaller than it is in the TV. That noise is a guy next to me Skyping his wife rather than just bloody phoning. He was Skyping her. Technology going mad. Now the wee guy, you can maybe just see him in there with the sort of the hair over the face and the beard. He is actually the wee guy that was in the series of Robot Wars. His robot is Pulsar. Now I was talking to him and his dad for quite a while later on. Actually really nice guys. This is the sort of where they did all their kind of I recognise him. He was the I didn't recognise him at the time, but I watched the final last night. He's in Team Carbide. Now I'm not going to give you any spoilers if you've not watched the final, which was on last night. I'm not going to spoil it for you, but yeah, that guy was in Team Carbide. This guy here with the dreadlocks, he had a really awesome looking machine. It wasn't the greatest when it came to fighting, as you'll soon see, but from a sort of mechanical engineering point of view, really impressive. It looked like something that had been made in Meccano. You know, I mean, you see some of these other things, I mean, they're just like massive, massive hammers. You always knew that something like that was never really going to cut it. Tend to find that the robots that do well are the ones that have the sort of the least movable parts. Now that wee guy there with the glasses, you just saw him for a second, oh boy, that's the father of the wee guy that's built the robot for Pulsar. Talking to him and his son. But there seems to be a real thriving community amongst the robot builders. You know, they don't just do robot wars, they go to all these events, and you know, you can just tell the camaraderie and the friendship amongst them all. This was some I don't even know what they're playing. Minecraft, yeah, I think it's Minecraft, yep. I think it is it? One of these big behemoth computers. It's funny how when you're filming these things, you see all these people and you don't recognise, you don't remember seeing any of them at all when you're actually there. Now, I had somehow wandered into a gaming bit, so I had to kind of duck to get out. Oh, there's the exit there. So yeah, it was all very generic PC stuff. Not my cup of tea. I certainly wouldn't go to it, you know, if it was just myself. It's interesting to see some stuff, but you know, it's not a patch on the retro events as far as I'm concerned. Now at the back there you can see the stage. That is where they had various people on talking, had various YouTubers with billions of subscribers. But again, these guys, it's all just generic games that they play. Minecraft, Resident Evil. You know, it's not retro stuff at all. I think we need to accept that classic gaming is never going to be, it's never going to be a patch on the appeal for the sort of current games, modern games. Now there is Matilda from Robot Wars. I was delighted to see that. Couldn't believe how huge it is. It's hard to actually describe just how big that is. It's probably 5 feet long. The little bits at the top are actually made of rubber. That's Sergeant Bash. What's that called again? I can't remember what he's called. Shunt, I think it is. No, that's Shunt, and that's Sergeant Bash. Again, these are absolutely massive. They're just huge. I mean, these things weigh a couple of tons. I mean, you see them in the TV, they look tiny. You just really don't appreciate just how big these things are. So anyway, yep, this is the Robo Challenge. Now, at the back you'll see that thing that I was talking about, the thing that looked like it was made of Meccano. Super impressive, but sadly it wasn't really up to the task.
It's namesake, and you can see why. You can see why. It's called Mantis. It's a praying mantis. Looks like a dinosaur, doesn't it? Roboteers, for the very best of luck. Here we go.
Now these robots are called the featherweight. It's all down to the weight of robot. You can't go over a certain weight, and if you do, you need to take bits off it to get under a weight. It's a bit like boxing, I guess. So these are tiny. These are absolutely tiny compared to the ones you see in Robot Wars.
But it has to be deployed at the right time, at the right moment. A lot of mechanics there susceptible to damage from Mantis. But a very well engineered bit of
This particular fight was a bit tame. There was a couple of them, machines that had the spinning blades, and they were fighting, and it was pretty epic. It was like bloody hell. Bits flying everywhere, sparks a lot. Yeah, that mantis thing was just getting annihilated. This here is PS4 Gran Turismo. I know these racing pods. Again, I think it was all kind of online. Quite impressive looking, but again, I didn't actually have a shot. Now up here was the Mafia Theatre, Mafia 3 Theatre. Again, when I went to try and get in, it wasn't on, so I'm guessing it was just showing you footage of the game. You can see there, huge queues to try and Forza 3. Got to say, it looked damned impressive. One thing I have noticed, my TVs that I've got are all quite old, and when you see even like a PlayStation 4 running on a decent TV, it just looks head and shoulders above what my TV is like. So I am looking forward to getting a new TV at some point, but I'm not going to buy one until the current one fails. I mean, I wouldn't do that. This was FIFA 17, I think it was. again, I was watching some penalty shootout thing, and the graphics, you really have to kind of look twice to think, are they real or not? And this thing here, the Xbox One, it was an ice cream van. It wasn't selling ice cream, it was giving, right, that's the reason you've got the deck chairs. If you played any of the games, you got vouchers. If you get so many vouchers, you can claim a free ice cream. We actually went up to buy an ice cream, and it told me they weren't for sale, which was a bit pants. More Minecraft. I wish I had 1 pence for every copy of Minecraft sold. It's an absolute phenomenon, isn't it? See our PS4 running Uncharted 4 multiplayer. That was actually a competition all running, so I don't think they minded you filming things like that, because it's a game that's already out. I think it's when you try and film a game that's getting previewed, they don't like it because people could look at it and think, oh, that's a game, it's not great, whereas technically it's just a work in progress. Now that there is the PlayStation VR, you can see there. Now this particular one was called a VR experience. You're basically inside a shark cage. Now hopefully you'll see it. That was really impressive looking. I don't think there was much a game actually. Yeah, you look at that, it's pretty terrifying. I'm still not sure about whether to go ahead and buy the PlayStation VR. I mean, I have pre-ordered it, but given my lack of using my Samsung VR, I'm not quite sure whether I'm going to outlay the money or not. I might wait and see what it turns out to be. I did ask the guy about the PS4.5. I says, what is the difference? Is there any advantage? And he was pretty. He didn't want to say very much. He just said he didn't know. He'd never seen one, so he couldn't really comment. Now you might have seen these people. Some people carrying the Mario blocks with the big question mark and the big yellow kind of cube things. There's somebody there. What these were is you could buy one for 30 quid, and it had, according to the blog, it said up to £60 worth of stuff. And that wee guy there dressed as Jason, he was actually real. Yeah, the box, you got up to £60 worth of stuff, and it's basically like a loot crate, but a couple of them had tickets to get a free PlayStation 4, so probably a couple of them. Excuse me. So more PlayStation VR again. Last Guardian, they had this big tree stump that people are getting their picture taken with. I'm not quite sure what presumably that's a game that's coming out. Or FIFA 17. Yeah, I would say if you were into your PCs in a big way, especially your hardware, you'd probably be in heaven. for myself, there wasn't really anything there for me. As I said, I went there. Yeah, I was trying to resist a bit more filming there, but I thought that really looked a bit leery if I done that. Yeah, there was really not a lot there for me, and the only reason I was there was because my daughter and her two pals wanted to go, and I did take them last year, or took my daughter there last year. Whether I go down to Birmingham next year is debatable. It's a hell of a long way. I mean, it's 5 hours in the car. It's 300. It was actually 307 miles each way, so that's a long way to go for a, you know, a gaming festival thing. It was actually on, it started on Friday, it ran Saturday, Sunday and today, so it's actually still on at the moment. Well, it was on, I should say that today. I'm guessing it'll finish now. It finished at 6 o'clock. But it was getting to the point I was getting running out of things to actually film. I was like, I've been here. Yeah, there's the token cake stall. Quite what that's got to do with video games is beyond me. They seem to be always busy. Now, I did buy a pick and mix selection, where my daughter picked it and I paid for it £9, and it was just a half filled bag, £9 they wanted. So the prices were what you would expect. That little white tent thing, people were actually giving massages. I don't know if you had to pay for them or not. You can see there on the right hand side the game ship. This thing, drone simulation, it was like a video game of flying a drone. I don't really get that myself. I think the whole point of flying a drone is you've actually got a real thing you're flying. Flying one in a computer game. Now again that's these YouTuber guys. Yogscast. Comedy gaming. Again, not quite sure who they are. That's a wee repair zone thing for the Robo challenge thing. Back to the repair centre. Like I was saying earlier, that guy on the right, in the blonde hair, that's the guy. He's in Carbide, Team Carbide they're called. They were in last night's final. Very impressive. I mean, it really is, you know, a work of engineering. But the problem is that one, far too many bits were kind of exposed that it was never going to stand any chance. That wee guy there, with the back to you, that's the wee guy that's in Pulsar. I was talking to him and his dad. Sorry, man. There's Matilda. Yeah, a lot bigger than you imagine them to be. And this was a little cosplay thing that was going on. Some sort of makeup, I think it was. Again, not my cup of tea at all. And then they had this large tiger thing. I'm not quite sure. You could sit in it and get your picture taken. I have no idea what the purpose of that was. You can probably tell I'm kind of out my depth in this event. Really nothing that I enjoyed as such, but hey ho, it kept the kids happy. That's the important thing. This was Sega Dreamcast Street Fighter, I think, is it Second Strike? I'm not quite sure what game it is. Very, very capable machine when it came to Street Fighter. This was, I think this was Super Smash Brothers on the GameCube, I think. This was an indie game. What was it? Something in nature, zombie nature or something it was called. It was like various animals. Yeah, nature's zombie apocalypse. Looked quite nice. Guessing that's running on a PC. And that one there appeared to be just a button bash game. You basically got to press buttons as quick as you possibly can. This one here reminded me of Cannon Fodder. Quite similar sort of graphics, similar layout. It's nice to see the indie zone, the indie developers are still flourishing. You know, it's nice to see that you can still get these little companies putting out games. More Minecraft, I think, is it? Not quite sure. Yeah, the whole point of this this event is for PC multiplayer, PC hardware, and sort of the new PC games. But there is absolutely nothing there really at all for any, you know, fans of old systems. There's just nothing. They had the little token, you know, handful of machines, but did I enjoy it? Not particularly. Like I said, I was there with my daughter. Unless you're really into your PC hardware and that kind of stuff, and possibly cosplay, then I wouldn't recommend it. I mean, the thing that I enjoyed the most, and that says it all, was I enjoyed the Robot Wars thing most out of anything else. I mean, you had these, you can see here, interviews with people who have got I've got no idea who they are. You know, if it was guys like Ashens or Steve Benwaite, I would have watched it, but it's not. It's guys that play generic games, and you know, it's not something I'm interested in. I mean, who is he?
On far too loud last night. I couldn't get any sleep. So let's welcome him to the stage anyway. Shim, come on up here.
Shim? Who's Shim? Who the hell is he? Yeah, no idea. And listen, guys, that is it. Yeah, make your own mind up. Like I said, if you're not into PC hardware or modern games or online gaming, I wouldn't waste your time. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed watching it, guys. And as usual, thank you very much for watching.